I'm joined here today by the one and only, the legendary Vitor Belfort, man who started fighting before I was even born. Vitor, thank you so much for joining me, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How about yourself, Lucas?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for asking. And I assume it's the first time the interviewer has mentioned that you started fighting before he was even born. I assume that's got to be unique for you.
Oh man, that's when you said that. I said, "Wow, that,
Yeah.
that's that's not just unique, but this give me pleasure. This give me joy to see that you decide to become a reporter of the sport that I helped build. You decide to take a journey and believe in what I believe when nobody believe you. So it's like this. It's like whatever you do today, thinking in years from now. So I always tell kids, whatever you do today, just thinking that 20, 40, 50 years from now, or, even longer. So you're going to influence someone. You're really going to inspire someone. So this gives me joy.
100%. 100%. It's weird to hear you say it like that because I don't think everybody considers it. But you're right. It's you help build the sport, and now you see the reporters coming up. The I guess you can say the fruits of your labor. But listen, you were a bucket list interview for me. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way before we get into stuff. When I had the opportunity to talk to you, I was like, we have to take it, man. Vitor's a legend, 100%.
Let's go, man. I'm ready for all your questions. I'm here to serve you.
For sure. Before we get into anything MMA and stuff, I did a lot of podcasts. People they asked me about bare knuckle boxing and stuff, and I'm famous for going on a tangent about how much I don't like it and all this stuff. People were like, Lucas, man, you don't have to hate it that much. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe I'm talking to a man who loves bare knuckle boxing about as much as I do. Is that correct?
No, I don't like bare knuckle boxing because that's called the porn. I call the porn of fighting. My hands is like so that's by my sport. I
Yeah.
have been learning to protect my hands since you can see my first fight. I When I began to compete, you had a choice to go with no gloves. You never see me with no gloves. You always saw me with gloves. You always saw me with mouthpiece and groin protector. My first fight, you allowed to hit the nuts. So
Yeah.
so what I want to tell you, Luke, is this: it's easy when you're throwing the rocks on somebody's house, but when they throwing rock at your house, now it's not that fun anymore. So
Yeah.
I have more than 100 stitches in my face. I have injuries in my body. So I am a soldier. So I believe the only people that can talk about war is if you went to war. If you sit in the chair and you just pressing button, hey, go here, go there, that means you help people in war, but you cannot be say, I went to war. I'm a war hero. You can only be a war hero when you really went into that field, fought the enemies, lived, lost friends, and saw the things. So I lost so many friends in the sport. Kevin Rand, one of them. So many
Yeah.
people they're not here with us anymore. So the idea is like what was good, what was not. What is so, and I know that when I'm punching someone with no gloves, I'm throwing away all the good sponsors, the families, the family environment, because this become like a street fight. And martial arts for me was never a street fight, was never. So I learned respect, I learned value. So I like the merging of boxing and MMA. Yes, I like it. I like it. The striking. Yes, I love it. I still hold the most knockouts in UFC history. Yes, I have this. I like
Yeah.
to put people out. Yes, but I don't like to hurt people. That's never my intention. My intention is like for me, martial arts is an art. The art to knock somebody out, you gotta be an artist. So so everything that is you do, the intention, the way you do, it's very important. So even when you give, even when you help, what's the intention behind? So I believe bare knuckle fighting, the way it's being exposed, it's not good, man. It's like I don't want kids. I don't want to see you getting hurt. I don't want to see you getting cuts in your face. If you like street fighting, you you're not my kind of guy. You gotta like martial arts. You gotta like sport, and that's been something that I helped build through the years.
I agree with you with everything you just said. I mean, I talked to someone like Chris Lieben who had competed in it, and he was saying, if you're young, it might not be for you. The scar tissue, breaking the hands. I mean, like you mentioned, it sounds like it's got so many things against you. But listen, let's go on a more positive path. You signed on this new promotion. It seems like you want to compete everywhere in MMA. Of course, one championship. Tell me, how did this signing come together?
It's a decision. I'm in the season of my life that I can. I paved my way, and I really think Chatre and the whole one organization is really is the innovation of the sport, and it's a place that has been growing so much, especially in the market of Asia and the markets in India. So they are really doing a great job, and I really like the way they're being catered, the way they cater martial arts. It's can't wait to perform in the ring again, in the one ring that is beautiful, and I'm excited, man.
And so currently, it looks like you're set to fight Alain Ngalani. Currently, is this supposed to be an MMA fight or a kickboxing? Because it looks like people are having a hard time
Surprise,
figuring out.
surprise. That's the good thing. You don't need to figure it out. You guys
Right.
will see it, and then you guys will love it because that's something I can tell you. It's gonna be amazing. Let's put it that way. You guys gonna see two strikers, really looking to bring action, and that's what it is about.
And so this fight is going to be taking place at heavyweight. Last time we saw you 2 years ago, you were at 185. What went into this decision to move back up? Because we've seen you at these weight classes before.
I just love it. The speed. I don't want to be cutting weight.
Yeah.
I can fight light heavyweight. That's my weight. I'm a light heavyweight guy. I don't want to cut weight. I actually think the weight process is still fake. The only good weight cut is one. One does the way that is but it's still complicated because you have to the hydration thing. I think the best way to do weight cutting to do is this: you wait and you fight. That's how Olympic is done. You wait and fight. So you have to jump in the scale. From the scale, when the heifer is touching you, putting the Vaseline.
Yeah.
So it's from the scale right there, and now okay, now you're 205, you fight 205. So we know that all the fighters they're waiting the day before 205, but they really are 235. So
Right.
I think that's one of the things we should start visiting soon. And I think if not now or later, that's going to be the way to fight. So everybody will be in your weight. You're a 140 fighter, so you're a 145er. So it's like this: you are what you are. Am I right?
That's right.
You cannot be what you're not. What you're not. So, and
Makes
that's
sense.
what it is in the weight class. That's why I like Olympics. The Olympics is it's you wait and you fight.
And so with you going up to heavyweight, I assume you're going to be different physically. I mean, have you started to put on mass and things like that? Are we going to see a different a transformation heading into that one?
I'm a 205 right now, so it's not.
Oh yeah.
Remember, if you're trying to make lightning a thunder, like I always tell my kids, you see a lightning, you don't hear the lightning. The thunder is noise. Look like, oh man, it's big, but
Yeah.
the lightning is small, but makes a big thing. So remember, it's not how big you are, it's how fast you are. So strength, it's velocity and plus velocity plus power. So and that's what I'm here. I'm not care who's the biggest. Remember, the king of the jungle is not the elephant; is the lion for a reason.
That makes sense. And speaking of this line, the big thing we've always seen in your career is that insane speed. We go back to the fight with Vanderlei. You're so quick in those fights. How much quicker are you going to look at heavyweight? Because I assume being lighter than some of these guys, that speed is going to be just insane.
You watch the video. I post a video, and one post a video that I'm hitting mitts. You see the speed is there.
Yeah.
The speed is
And
right there.
so,
So I'm excited.
do you work on the speed, or is that just natural athleticism you've had day one? I mean, I assume now you have to train a particular way to sort of keep that up. Am I wrong?
No, you can born with gifts, but you can only become good if you develop the gifts. The gifts can only take you some places. If you don't develop, you lose it. Remember, you are what you are now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow you can be another man. Today is what matters. So you can only be what you are tomorrow if you develop today. I believe in the process.
That makes sense. Trust the process. We haven't seen you fight in about 2 years. You've signed for one championship. I assume at this point you have to be itching to be competing at this point. Because I know when you start something new, you always want to get started at this point. Has it started to get to you yet? Now being able to compete.
You know, I've been competing my whole life. Everything is competition for me. When I'm at home, I'm cooking is a competition. So when I go training, I train with the best guys, you know, and stand for MMA. So it's you know, I'm every time is everything is a competition. When I train, I compete against myself. So of course, it's kind of different setting, but uh, that's how I see my life. So it's just it's gonna be reflect of what is when things happen. So you cannot try to bring the moment when it's not there. So you have to live by that's called mindfulness. You gotta live the moment. So the moment comes, I will be prepared and ready and nervous as always. Everyone is nervous, and the butterfly is gonna be there, but you just let the butterfly fly and fight.
And so you've mentioned to a lot of people that this is your last dance. Unfortunately, that documentary ended. So for you in this last dance, what's the goal? Is it to be like Michael Jordan, rack up these last championships? Is it about finishing on top? What's this last dance about for you?
I think me and Michael Jordan are really different. You know, like
Yeah.
and the number one difference between Michael Jordan and I is like I bring my family along with me. You know, I bring my wife and my kids. It's I am the reflection of my wife and of my kids. Um, Everything I do for them, and my name is a legacy with my values in the things that I carry. Not how much money, if I'm a billionaire or if I'm this and that. So we have different values, but I really like his mentality as a competitor. Yes, I do like it. Yes, I admire him as an athlete. Yes, I do. But I see, I see the world differently, and the way I see it is sport is just part of my life. MMA or my sport or fighting is just part of my life. It's not my life. And
Right.
the way I see it is like, okay, with that chapter and that area of my life, I've been living the man that I am in this life. So it's I'm not doing fake wrestling. I'm not acting in the Hollywood. It's a
Right.
martial art. It's serious. It's for real. So I have to carry the things that are the values that I really think is the lights that I really want to shine, and I want to make people bring hope and bring what I do for myself. How can I share with others? How can I inspire others to do their craft? Like yourself, you know, you said I was fighting when you're not even here, and what I ask you, what do you think I inspire you? You know, and that's the thing. So what do you think other you know others inspire you and only you can answer that and of course people take choices in life. You know, I like to be negative, I like to trash talk, I like so say it's I'm not gonna say it's wrong. You know, that's what you want for you. It's what you get. Don't expect if you eat something that is bitter to be sweeter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can
Yeah.
only taste what you put in your mouth. Don't expect it to eat bitter and trying to make your life sweeter. You know what I'm saying? So,
That makes
and
sense.
that's the problem we are living today. People like pornography, but they don't want their daughter to be a pornographer. You know, they don't want them to be in pornography. So people
Yeah.
like lies, but they don't want nobody to lie to them. So you got to be careful what you do and what you wish because that thing can be against you. So that's a really looking to really to that's my last dance is bringing the guy. When I started, I was very immature. It was very raw, but my essence was there, and I started becoming that fighter. And as I grew, as I become more knowledgeable, I understand that I have an audience worldwide, and they listen to what I said and what I do, and everything that I do is being written in the book of eternity because I have to be accountable one day by this. I will have to be accountable with all the actions I have here. So that being said, Lucas, my last dance is gonna be the best dance.
That's right. We look forward to it. Listen, you're 40 fights deep in your career, even a little bit more than that. Do you ever just sit back and just reflect on everything, or is that one of those things you wait until after you're done with your career?
I think I all reflect, but when I reflect, I'm trying to take what is good, you know.
Right.
So I'm trying to make my losses become my lessons, you know. So I try to make my victories my lessons as well. So it's hard because in victory you don't learn a lot. So I'm trying to learn and trying to digest every day. But but when you start reinventing yourself, you gotta reset the button. Every time you reinvent yourself, it's called reset button. Everything's new. So for right now, I'm in reset button. Everything's new. I'm soaking in, learning how can I make my body better? How can I develop everything? It's like how I can have the best perform. How can I make this 43-year-old fighter become the 22-year-old fighter? How can I make that? And I'm finding some science there and that being helpful a lot, but also it's all mental. So some aspect has to go in your mind.
And so, a fun fact for today, it is May 18th while we're talking. And I don't know if you know this, but 7 years ago marks the spinning kick knockout over Luke Rockhold.
Wow.
How does it feel hearing that it's been that much time and all that stuff?
How long?
7 years.
7 years. Wow. So that's called the seven is the number of perfection. So yeah,
Why is that?
it's good because that's if you know the numbers, they have means. The
Ah, that's right.
numbers. So yeah, so it's to perfect a skill, you gotta train, you gotta develop, and you gotta trust. So that's pretty cool to know that.
And so I'll ask just a couple more questions, then we'll wrap it up. But when people look back at your career, when they look back on the career of Vitor Belfort, what are some things that you want them to say? I assume obviously all positive, but like what's the thing that you really want people to remember about your career when it's all said and done?
I mean, I hope they can learn. You know, they can learn with my mistakes and make it better and become better, and not trying to mimic my wrongs. You know, like I tell my kids, you know, use what I have good. If it's not good, don't use it. And we all have both. You know, we have both. But people love people that win. People love winners, and people love they fall in love. Even if they're a bad person, they love it. You know, that's why people love Hitler because he was a bad guy, but in their mentality, he was let's follow this guy. Let's all believe in what he's doing. So they could not criticize what he's doing was wrong. And so that's why be careful. Whatever, you know, you following the person, trying to see what is good for you, what you don't agree. Don't say yes for everything that is that guy or whatever it is. And if it is an athlete or if it is a philosopher, if he's a doctor, you get you got to always criticize. That thing is good. Is going to inflict my values, my morals. If it is, don't take it. You know, you don't have to. I always say, take what is good, despite what is bad. So that's what I want people to do it, and that my advice they can do for themselves. That if they have to take something from me, learning how to digest and the digest system in life to take what is good and spell what is bad.
All right, and so I have just one last question for you. I feel like you're teasing us with this heavyweight fight. We don't know if it's going to be MMA, kickboxing. I know everybody wants to see it, but when do you think we're going to see this fight? When do you think you'll hop into the cage for one championship for the first time?
This year, we're gonna see this year. So Chatri is already on work with my agent Lloyd. So everything's on the move. We're about to see great things. So this last dance is gonna be a couple dances. So, but when I say last dance, is not one. We're gonna have a couple ones good. I promise you, it's gonna be good.
All right, well, we look forward to it. It was an honor and a pleasure to speak with you, Vitor. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and stay safe out there.
You too, man. Take care.